So this is obviously the chainsaw, and it's something more for the Democrats to cry in their oatmeal.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw! All right. I love it. Mr. President, thank you so much. All right.
This idea that all Republicans, want a guy wielding a chainsaw and just slashing NIH budgets, slashing U.S. aid budgets. There are some of us who are very proud of what George W. Bush did with PEPFAR, saving 25 million lives in Africa, slashing FAA, slashing TSA. I'm sorry, I'll just say it. That's not what a lot of Republicans voted for Donald Trump for.
I just think it's important here because Elon said it. As a tech expert, I mean, he called himself a tech assistant or something like that. He's going to be the enforcer of the Trump policies. Okay, we've never had such a thing. He's a huge figure. He's a genius, and he's going to be there. He's not going away, and he's assembled a team of young geniuses to help him out. This is firepower, and I think it is transformative firepower, but I ask you, what do you think?
Well, I think they hit it last night in the sense that it's one thing for a president to give an executive order or even pass legislation and get the thing done through the bureaucracy. Franklin Roosevelt, when he was in the government, says like punching a pillow. Well, they're taking both a chainsaw and a microscope, finding out where the money actually goes, how it is being tracked, and where it goes through various agencies. Some of it sounds like money laundering, the way some of these things pass from one thing to another thing and end up in hands that it shouldn't be in. And I also love how Musk hit again and again, bureaucracy versus democracy.
Right.
And apropos of your riff, the House Budget Committee came up with this $4.5 trillion number, which is ridiculous. Since they're in charge of it, how about $6.5 trillion? And get some real rate cuts and take care of this whole blue state thing. You know, there are two tax brackets that hit most people in those blue states, 22 and 24%. Take 4 points off, and you got your virtual deduction, and incentivize the economy.
I do wonder, Van, what you think about, say, that message as opposed to, some of the insensitive things we've heard from Elon Musk, the chainsaw stuff, etc.
Look, there's a smart way and a dumb way to do anything.
There's a smart way and a dumb way to do anything, huh? So you're telling me that you know better on how to manage money and work with budgets than the richest man in the world. Come on, Van. Read the room. This guy bought Twitter for $44 billion and got rid of, I think it was like 80 or 90% of the staff, and took 12 months and has turned it entirely around. But you're telling me there's a right way and a wrong way for him to be doing, what he's doing.
And what they're doing by, the Nazi salute and the chainsaws, they want us talking about stuff that the...
You guys are still going there? You're still talking about the Nazi salutes, huh? At some point, these people have to wake up and realize you've lost America. I don't mean you've lost a race. I mean you've lost America. Nobody's watching you. Even the vice president is laughing at you. I think we've done more of executive orders than CNN has viewers. They're laughing at you. The world is laughing at the mainstream media. You're getting your butt kicked by alternative media, and then all of you who think you built up these great, audiences decide to come on to our side of the table and create these podcasts, and you're all getting your butts waxed. And you can't understand what is it about these people? How do they not, understand? I'm talking to them. I'm Van Jones. I'm Jennifer Rubin. I'm Jim Acosta with my new podcast, and nobody's listening. Don Lemon. What is it? How do you not realize that you've lost America. Not just some of the Democrats. You've lost America, and people are like, I've had it with you people.
At the end of the day, doesn't matter. We won't even remember in a week. Here's what's not going to be forgotten. There are veterans right now in the United States that are having a hard time seeing a doctor because there's been so much chaos in our government. There are nurses. There are people who are trying to keep our water safe. People who are trying to make sure our food is being... There's complete chaos. And the problem that you have is we're all trust fund babies. We didn't build this country. Our parents built this country. Our grandparents built this country. They put the laws in place. They put the roads on the ground. And we are just squandering it by letting somebody put termites all over the pillars that hold up our society. It's so...
Interesting word that Van just used right there. Very interesting word. And that very interesting word he used, that may not have been the exact right time to use it. Squandering. In the backdrop of everything that we've seen with USAID, with the Department of Education, with the military losing $2 trillion, with 50 million going to Gaza for, I'm sorry, not Gaza, but to Mozambique for condoms. You exhibit everything I've been saying about losing America because you just used the word squandering about somebody who's trying to unsquander what your team has done. How stupid must your audience be to have just I know why, because you don't talk about it. Your audience doesn't even know, unless they've looked someplace else. Your audience doesn't even know about the gazillions and the Irish drag show and the Romanian Sesame Street. Your audience doesn't know. But that's why you're losing so badly, because too many people do know. And you chose the word squandering to talk about Trump and Elon. And Americans are coming back squandering. Squandering. If him cutting spending, just let me... I went to college. I think I know what the definition of squandering. If him cutting spending is defined as squandering, what word is it you would use for what you guys were doing for the last 4 years? Oh, I know. Stealing.
Easy to say, oh, America's government's terrible. America's government sucks. You go to another country. You come back here and you can't wait to get back to see a country that is run as well as ours. Is there waste, fraud, and abuse? There is in every country. But
so we're just supposed to accept it? Is there waste, fraud, and abuse? Yeah, there's in it. Okay. Why aren't you trying to fix that? Oh, it's no big deal. Yeah, it always happens. It's just government. Don't worry about it.
You cut it with a scalpel. You don't cut it with a chainsaw. And you cut fat. These people are cutting fat, muscle, bone, and marrow. When they say they're going to take $1 trillion out, that's going to hurt a lot of people. And by the way, go to Congress. You are...
No. I don't want to use a scalpel. I don't want to use a sledgehammer. I want to see what Donald Trump is doing, and I want him to amputate. I don't mean to sound gross with that, but I want him, because a sledgehammer with me, I don't know, from my real estate background, a sledgehammer to me is, I look at that as breaking down things to rebuild it. Maybe that's ingrained in me, because when I've ever used a sledgehammer, it's like, hey, let's go ahead and take out a wall here and put a curved hallway. Or let's bust this out and put a moonlight or something. Most people who use sledgehammers are doing so in an effort to do something else. I don't want to do anything else. I want to amputate and cut that out. We don't need it, don't want it, bye. I don't need a scalpel. I'm not trying to do a fine cut. You know, when you've had an operation, me playing football, I've had knee operations and things like that. And thank God they understood to go in and use the scalpel and see, we got to fix your ligaments and your tendons. Oh, because we have to be careful because you need to use that knee again. We need to get you healed and back on the field. We don't want that. Done. You're never going to use that again. I got a stub. Yeah, you're never going to use that again. We, as Americans, want, and I'm not trying to offend anybody who's an amputee. I'm just using an analogy. So please, understand, love you. I'm not trying to make light of anybody's physical condition. I'm talking about the action. These people act as like we're just trying to make an incision and fix the area that's bad. And that's not at all what Trump is doing, so that tells me they don't understand. He wants to vaporize these things. And I got some breaking news for you. Breaking. That exemplifies specifically what I was just talking about. This just came out. Breaking. FBI Director Kash Patel, in his first full day, maybe that's why we haven't seen him get sworn in yet, in his first full day, just ordered a major redeployment of FBI agents, which he had talked about. Approximately 1,000 agents from Washington, D.C. will now be moved to field offices nationwide, and 500 more will go to Huntsville, Alabama. Welcome home, boys! You're no longer in the Beltway. You're going down to Alabama. Today is his only first day in office, and he's already at it. This was something Kash promised, by the way, and I played that video that you're seeing there, where he's like, "We need to splinter this into 100 pieces." Not X. No. I'm not trying to make the incision. Poof. You no longer work here. You find an apartment or a house in Huntsville, Alabama. And by the way, don't be upset, because whatever you're paying for property up here in the Beltway, you're going to be able to buy a mansion down in Huntsville. Just imagine that. That little 2-bedroom condo you had in Arlington that you're paying $3,500 a month for, guess what? In Huntsville, Alabama, you're going to get about 5,000 square feet. You're going to be the king. So we were talking about Van Jones and complaining about how, he doesn't like the way the chainsaw reference is looking, when that's specifically what we want. Things are changing and these people can't figure it out.
A Republican president, you have control of the House and the Senate. Go to Congress and let's have a real process. But you unleash somebody who's doing theatrics and abandoning his own children and having some weird fantasy in front of everybody to be popular. Just do whatever.
That's the other problem these people have. Maybe they should get out more in front of people like you guys, because they don't listen to people. Where did you think that insulting somebody makes you feel better? I mean, Van, this is supposed to be a news show you're on, and I don't know who the other people are, but nobody steps up and goes, "Come on, man. He's not abandoning his children. He's got the one child that wants nothing to do with him because of you guys. You put that hive mind virus into his child, and his child wants to be different. I guess that's the best word. But he's got 12 of them. So he's not abandoning them. He's making them.
Whatever he wants to do with no oversight, that is anti-American, and it's reckless and it's wrong.
Was it anti-American to be sending $50 million to Mozambique? Was it anti-American to be sending money to 90 other countries? Was it American to give Stacey Abrams $20 billion? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you would ask most Americans and they're pissed off. The ones who are paying attention, that is. Notice again now, just another news cycle or show where nobody mentions any numbers. In fact, he didn't even mention money going to other countries. He's mad because Elon went to an event and held a chainsaw. Get over yourselves you won't win. You're not going to win another election until you realize it.